The last piece of our puzzle we are going to put in with a tool that is called the Magic Wand tool. Directly underneath our polygonal lasso tool we just used is what looks like a little magic wand. And if it's selected and it says the quick selection tool, again, just hold it down, get that pop-up menu, and then choose the Magic Wand tool. Now the Magic Wand tool works based on something called tolerance. Now, tolerance is simply the similarity of colors. Now, the greater tolerance value, the more pixels the magic wand is going to select. Okay. So what we want to do here is, with our magic wand tool selected, we want to go up to our options bar that has changed, and we're going to set our tolerance at 8. So go ahead and put 8 in the tolerance box. And we want to make sure that both the anti-alias and the contiguous boxes are both checked. And I'm going to talk about those here in a second. But for this demonstration, just make sure that they're both checked. And then what we want to do is we're actually going to come down to our missing piece over here on the right-hand side, and we're going to click anywhere in this white area. So just click on it. You're going to see that it selects all of the white. Notice that when you hover over it, still with the Magic Wand tool selected, that you get a little white arrow in a box. That's what we want. And we're going to click and drag, and you're going to see that we're actually dragging the marquee, and we're going to drag it over and place it over our puzzle piece number 7. And we're going to try to line that up as best as we can. You can use your arrow keys if you need to. And then what we're going to do is grab our move tool, come back over to our number 7 puzzle piece, and once we have our little scissors, we're going to pick up that entire piece and place it right back over into our final spot that's missing. And you can use your arrow keys to line everything up, and then go ahead and hit deselect when you have it where you want to. So you can see some of them we did really well with, maybe, if yours looks like mine, with our squares, and it gets progressively harder as we go through. Some look really good, some, like our circle, is missing a little bit, but overall we should have a completed puzzle piece right now, and we're going to go ahead, and if you want to, you can save it. If not, it's okay. I just did a Control S to save. And then you can close out of it, and then we're going to go open another file and continue to work with our Magic Wand tool. So the next file we're going to open from Google Classroom is B2. It's the same hot air balloon, except this time there's no puzzle pieces to put in. Instead, what we're going to do is work with making some selections with our Magic Wand tool. So go ahead and download B2. And then you can open that in Photoshop. And like I always do, give a double click on my hand tool to get it to fit to screen. And now what we're going to do is we are going to work with our Magic Wand tool. So go ahead and grab your Magic Wand. And this time what we're going to do is we are going to click on the center red square here. Anywhere you want, just go ahead and click. And you're going to notice that some of our red gets selected. Not very much, but some of it does. And the reason why not all of it got selected is because our tolerance right now is only at 8, which is a bit of a low tolerance, meaning that there are a lot of varieties of red in that square, even though we can't see the variety so much, but there are. So 8 is a really low number. So I'm going to do a Control D to deselect, and I'm going to change my tolerance up to 48. I'm going to put 48 in my tolerance box, and then I'm going to click on that red square again. So notice now we have a much more concise rectangle that's been selected. That's because the higher our tolerance is, the more that it's going to select. So now what I want to show you, remember that when I said we were going to talk about that contiguous means touching. So if you notice right now, any pixels that we selected that were touching got selected. But notice that there's also red in other areas of this picture. So let's deselect right now and uncheck the contiguous box, and then click back on that red rectangle and watch what happens. So when the contiguous box is not checked, it selects all of the red that is in the picture, okay? And so not all of it got selected. You can see some of this is orange, which if you think about it, the one very spot where we clicked on this rectangle is choosing 48 shades lighter and 48 shades darker and selecting it. So this orange might be a little too light. And so what we can actually do here is we can hold our shift key down just like we did before, and we can add to our selections. So another thing that you can do here is zoom in a little bit and hold your shift key down still and continue to select until we have a pretty good indication. Now, if you notice, some of my yellow down here got selected. So what I can do is hit my Alt key and get rid of some of those. And part of what could be happening is that our tolerance is a little high. So let's turn that down a little bit. Let's go to like 32. And holding our shift key, make some of those selections. And that I think is pretty good here. Not so shabby. You'll grab some maybe up at the top a little bit. And you're going to notice that some of your dark blue is going to get selected here. That's okay. It's not going to be perfect, just like our puzzle piece wasn't perfect. But once you have most of the red or orange areas selected, go ahead and double click your hand tool so that it fits on your screen. And then we're going to make an adjustment here and change the color of our red and orange pixels in this image. Okay, the last thing we're going to do, as I said, was to change the color of our selections. So we have everything selected, all the red and orange, by using the magic wand tool and working with our tolerance. But what we're going to do is we're going to go up to Image on our menu bar and go down to Adjustments, and then find our option that says Hue and Saturation. Now I'm just going to pull this dialog box off to the side so you can kind of see what happens here. But at Hue slider, the color of our selection is going to change. So you can pick whatever you want. I'm going to put my value at like plus 128. So I'm turning it all to this really vivid, bright green. And so hue we're going to talk about later on in some of our lessons, but hue is just another name for the color. And so once you have that done, you can go ahead and click OK. And then you can hit Control D to deselect. And there you have it. We made a selection and then we modified our pixels of that selection. So as I said in the very beginning, you have to make sure that you make selections before you go ahead and modify anything. That's why what we're doing in this lesson is so important.